remember the day my life changed forever, the day ambition took root in my soul, intertwining with every fiber of my being. I am Helena Montez, the senior bank executive in New York City, and at 35, I had clawed my way from being just another face behind the teller window to commanding respect in the high-stakes world of finance. My parents had always called me ambitious, but they had no idea the fire that burned within me. I could feel the weight of their expectations, but I carried them with pride, even as the distance grew between us. They disowned me for seeking more, for wanting to rise above the ordinary, and for that, I felt both anger and resolve. I was determined to show them that ambition was not a crime, but a birthright. As I sat in my sleek office overlooking the bustling city, the sound of ringing phones and clicking keyboards faded into the background. And my mind raced with the plans I had been meticulously crafting. My heart thrummed with the thrill of potential as I gazed out at the skyline that I intended to conquer. I had long envisioned a day when I could put my name on a building, a symbol of my triumph over doubt, betrayal, and every obstacle life had thrown in my path. The memory of betrayal lingered in the back of my mind. James, my fiancé, the man I thought I would spend my life with, had shattered my trust when he called off our wedding under the garish lights of the rooftop. A place that was supposed to be our paradise. The laughter of our friends echoed in my ears as he stood there, his expression unreadable, while I felt the ground beneath me crumble. He told me that he was not ready for the commitment, that he had doubts about our future. But somehow, I knew there was more. A nagging feeling clawed at my insides, whispering that I was not the only one in his heart. That gut feeling turned into a tidal wave of certainty when I discovered that he was seeing someone else, a colleague from work who had feigned friendship while plotting her way into his affections. The betrayal cut deep, not just because of the loss of love, but because I realized that the people I trusted could be the most treacherous. In that moment, rage ignited like a spark in a dry field, and I swore to turn my heartbreak into something fierce, something powerful. If he thought he could take my future from me, he was gravely mistaken. I transformed my pain into ambition. I poured everything I had into my work. I became a force to be reckoned with, conquering boardroom meetings, impressing clients, and turning an unyielding drive for success into my greatest weapon. I climbed the corporate ladder with fervor, and as I did, I learned to wield power with a careful touch. I knew that I had to play the long game, and every success was a step closer to reclaiming my narrative. Eventually, I reached a point where I could take risks that others would only dream of. I secretly invested my earnings into high-stakes ventures that would elevate my status, transforming my position into one of unrivaled influence. My dreams were no longer confined to the shadows, and for the first time, I can see the possibilities unfold before me like a glorious tapestry woven from ambition and resilience. The day came when I was faced with a decision that could either solidify my position or crash it in a fiery blaze. I was presented with an opportunity to buy out a struggling branch of our bank, one that had been failing under mismanagement. The catch? The investors had their eyes on me, and they were ready to undermine my every move. They doubted my capabilities, thinking that my ambition had blinded me to the realities of risk. But they had no idea what I was made of. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. I stepped into that boardroom with a confidence that stunned even the skeptics, armed with a detailed plan I had meticulously crafted. I laid out my strategy with fervor, highlighting not just the potential of the branch, but positioning it as the cornerstone of a new, innovative approach to banking. I can sense the shifting dynamics. The room buzzed with disbelief and intrigue. Each nod of approval felt like a victory. Each skeptical glance turned into a moment of silent respect. When the proposal was finally accepted, I felt as if I could touch the sky. With every breath, I relished the sweet taste of victory. I had bought the branch, and for the first time, I saw my hard work bearing fruit. But with triumph came the ghosts of my past. I learned soon after that James had managed to secure a job at my newly acquired branch. A cruel twist of fate that came with its own bitter aftertaste. The man who had once broken my heart now reported to me, and I could see the regret etched across his face every time our paths crossed. It was then that I knew my revenge was not just for me. It was also an opportunity to find closure. I created a culture of excellence at the branch, giving those who were willing to rise a chance to shine, all while ensuring that James faced the consequences of his betrayal. He was never the star employee he once thought he was. Instead, he became a lesson in humility, a reminder of why ambition should never be underestimated. Every day he worked under my leadership, I could sense his regret, and with every decision I made, I felt the weight of my journey. The stakes were high, and as the branch flourished, I understood that my ambition was not just about revenge. It was about justice served cold, about reclaiming my power. Through this experience, I realized I was no longer defined by betrayal or heartbreak. I was Helena Montez, a force to be reckoned with in the world of finance, and my ambition would shape not just my destiny, but the futures of many as well. By the time the dust settled, I stood at the helm of a successful branch, surrounded by a team that believed in me. My parents, now watching from afar, began to understand that their daughter's ambition was not a flaw, but a gift. They reached out for advice, and this time I responded not with bitterness, but with the grace of a woman who had conquered her demons. In the end, I had transformed my life from one of betrayal to one of triumph. Justice had been served, not in anger, but in the quiet strength that I had cultivated from the ashes of my past. I was no longer just the girl who they had once dismissed. I was a name that commanded respect, a beacon of hope for those who dared to dream. My journey was far from over. I was ready for whatever came next. And with that realization, I stepped confidently into my new future, eager to embrace each new challenge. Join me as I continue this journey, where the stakes only grow higher and my ambition knows no bounds.